What is going on, guys, and welcome to Form Check Friday. It is episode 3 already. I do not know where the last 3 weeks have gone, so let's get into it. First up, we have Brad. Brad is one of my online clients. Brad came to me looking to get strong AF. He just felt like he'd never really met his genetic potential before, and he just wanted to break through some plateaus and just get crazy strong. So let's have a quick look at his squat here. So Brad's just got some lifting shoes as well, which I really do recommend for most people when it comes to squatting. I just think if you can get some of those, it will make a huge difference to your squatting, and you just feel a lot stronger. So let's have a little look. Lovely. So at a first glimpse, I think Brad can, get just an inch lower. He's pretty much bang on things, but I think just a tiny bit lower and he'll be on the money. Okay. Also, just kind of going right back to the beginning, I think Brad's unrack, he can just be a little bit more efficient with it. Okay. If he gets both feet underneath the bar here to pick things up, it's just going to take less energy. 2 legs are stronger than 1 leg. Okay. Then you're just saving all the possible energy that you can for the actual squatting. Okay. As he does this, we come back. Okay, the next thing that I can see with Brad's squat is his bracing and his breathing, okay? I think that he needs to take his time at the top a little bit more and really think about a deep breath in, fill his tummy with as much air as he possibly can, and then brace, as if I was literally going to punch him in the tummy, okay? Just taking his time with that nice tight bracing and then pulling the bar down on his back, engaging his lats. It's just going to then help be a lot more stable throughout the movement, okay? As you can see, there's a few reps where he just ends up a little bit wobbly. If we look at his feet, you can see that the weight kind of shifting forwards and backwards, and we look at the bar here, it's kind of not coming quite in a straight line. With this bracing, it will massively help that, okay? The last thing is we can kind of see, I actually think he's overarching his back a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong, we have a natural arch in our lower back a little bit, but this is a common error which I see with a lot of people when squatting, particularly females. They tend to really overarch their lower back. We want to think about our hips as a bucket, okay? If we tilt them too much, you'll spill the water out the bucket, okay? So you want to think about maintaining a neutral spine and not necessarily sticking your bum out too much, okay? So that will come with his bracing. If he braces his core a little bit tighter, his hips will naturally stay a lot more neutral and his lower back will follow, okay? So a few things to work on there for Brad, but honestly, it has been crazy the progress which he has made in his squat so far in his training. Hip extensions, another absolute golden nugget, which I think a lot of people neglect in terms of training and lower body development and also strength. The glutes and the hamstrings are obviously so important in so many different things. Brad's form is pretty good here. Only thing I think he can do is if he swaps this bench for one of the step boxes you see back here, it just makes the positioning on your back a little bit easier because you'll pretty much be on the money. That box should be kind of underneath your scapula. So the bottom of your shoulder blade should kind of be hooked on the edge of the bench here. This will then stop him sliding up and down the bench, all right? Just, there you go, make life a little bit easier. And then the only other thing I'd say, it's been pretty good, but I think he can really think about pushing through those heels. This will just give us a little bit more hamstring activation, okay? But form is pretty good. The main thing we look at when we're looking at a hip extension is we're keeping the core engaged and we're keeping that chin tucked, okay, looking down our body. This is going to mean we're using glutes and hamstrings rather than if we're arching right back like this, we're just going to be using a lot of lower back, which is not what we want. Okay, now we are going to look at, I hope I'm going to say it right, Giuliano. Giuliano messaged me on Instagram. He is from Italy and his form is top notch. He also sent me a squat video, which is pretty much perfect. So I didn't want to put it in here because I wouldn't really have much to say, to be honest. So we're first going to look at his bench press. We can see he's got about 60, 90, about 105 kilos on there, I think. So a reasonably respectable bench. Now, first things first. When we look at here Giuliano's unrack, I like that he's lifted his hips to unrack the bar, because that allows you to really think about keeping those shoulder blades back and down. But when he then lowers his hips back onto the bench, he just loses pretty much any arch he's got, okay? Therefore, letting his shoulder blades come forwards, and then also just making his range of motion so much bigger, okay? So from this rack position here, and his unracked position, sorry, I really want him to think about thoracic extension, letting his rib cage flare up, and I reckon he could almost get his ribs to about here. This would just mean that his range of motion is going to be 1.5 inches, 2 inches smaller, just meaning that he's going to be able to lift that much more weight and provide that much more overload. I then also think he could get those feet a little bit further back, because as we play, you see he then wiggles his feet, which shows that he's just not quite tight enough. The tighter that we can be throughout our whole body, the stronger you will be, okay? So if he brings those feet kind of back under him a little bit more and just turns those feet out a little bit more, he'll be a lot stronger and he can use a lot more leg drive throughout the movement, okay? Pushing his feet down and away from him the whole time and keeping his glutes squeezed as well. This will just provide him a little bit more power off his chest, okay? But apart from that, he's got awesome control on the bar. He's tucking his elbows nicely. The only other small thing I think he can maybe work on is that bar path, okay? Tucking his elbows a little bit more and then pressing that bar back and up towards his head, okay? You can see that last one where he really struggled. It's because the bar came down and he tried to go straight up rather than pressing up and back, okay? But it's a pretty strong bench and nice control, mate. I think if you can keep that arch a little bit higher and use a lot more leg drive, you'll just get a lot more bang for your buck. Then let's have a look at his deadlift, which again is absolutely awesome. I really couldn't find much to fault on this at all. He's got awesome control. He pulls sumo, maintains his back position very nicely. He's got good bracing, lovely back position here. We can see that bar's nice and close, hips are nice and close as well. And that bar is in line with the back of his shoulders, which is what we look for. Now, brace as well, lats engaged as we can see, hips and chest rise together. The only thing that I would say is you don't finish the lift. You've done all the hard work, you've got it to here. Just squeeze that ass through and finish the lift, okay? You're literally like 2 inches off finishing that lift. Just make sure we fully extend those hips and squeeze your bum into the bar, okay? Pulls the bar back nice and close, sets nice and tight. Lovely. Again, not quite finished that lift. Get those hips through. So as soon as that bar kind of crosses your knee, so we've got there, bars crossed your knee. All I want you to think about doing is what I say to my clients. It sounds a bit stupid. Hump the bar. Literally, bang, smash, hips straight into the bar, okay? Straight forward. Squeeze that bum as tight as you can. Make your bum a nutcracker, okay? So just finish the lift, bud. You've done 99.9% of the hard work. Just finish it, okay? But guys, if you're wanting to know and learn how to sumo, this is a lovely example. Good bracing, maintains position really well. He's patient off the floor. Just needs to finish his lockout. So well done, Giuliano. Awesome work, mate. So guys, that is it. A quick one this week. Well done, Brad and Giuliano. If you guys want your videos featured in next week's Form Check Friday, please make sure that you shoot them to me on an Instagram DM or email them to theaestheticstrength@gmail.com. Until then, guys, I hope you have an awesome weekend and I will see you next week.